Welcome back to another Gentle Art Lifestyle podcast. That's kind of what we're calling these podcasts.
Long form conversation podcast. Yeah.
Yes. And this episode is going to be all about Mr. Joshua Janis's 5-day fast. Did you call it a mid or an extreme misogi? I think that was more of an extreme.
Yeah, it was a maximum
Yes.
misogi based on percent likelihood to finish.
Yes. And so today we're going to dive into that, see some challenges that he came up against through his 5-day fast, talk about some of his experiences, and look at it through the Gentle Art Lifestyle lens. So let's dive into it.
Sounds like a plan, Stan.
Yeah, so you picked a 5-day fast as a maximum misogi. So where'd that come from?
Often I try to do things that I'm either fearful of or really don't want to do. Taking on the obstacle is the way type of mentality. And I had done 3-day fast before, just water fast. And for those of you that may be really particular, mine was a water fast, but I guess it wasn't truly a water fast, which I'll get into in a little bit, because I did still take my athletic greens, and I did take very low caloric, but caloric like drip drops. So
Trying to stay hydrated.
Trying to make sure that I kept my vitamins and minerals in order.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so we'll get into that in a little bit, but a 5-day fast kind of scared me.
Yeah. I think that would scare a lot of people.
And it is really, really mental. Many religions have different types of fasts. And after doing this 5-day fast, I can understand why. You go through many deep philosophical thoughts while you're fasting. And especially when there's food all around you all the time.
In abundance.
Yeah. How lucky are we to have that?
I remember I texted you asking how you were doing, and you're like, well, Megan's eating my favorite burrito right in front of me right now.
It was,
but I'm doing good.
It smelled so good. The salsa was so good with that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, and actually, it's my any challenge that anybody does, it's their burden. It shouldn't be a burden upon the people that are around them.
Right.
And therefore, I have no, she could have ate, my favorite apple pie every day in front of me. And if that's what she wanted to do, that's what she wanted to do. In this case, we had she just hadn't eaten forever. And I told her, no, that's totally fine. But she did try to do a good job. I don't want people out there to think like.
Yeah, she wasn't rubbing it in your face for 5 days like, ooh, look at this burrito I got. They gave me one for free. I guess I'll save it for later.
Right. I guess I'll eat 2. How does that sound?
Yes. I think the longest I've gone without food on a water fast is like 48 hours. And that was pretty challenging for me.
Yeah, I think you got you got cranky during it, didn't you?
I think I got a little cranky. I also got sick at the end.
Yeah, that's right. Didn't Brittany try to do that with you as well?
Yep. And it ended up being a little bit more than 50 hours for her based on just when she last ate. And then she was like, well, I guess we're fasting now. But we also did a terrible job preparing for it because we prepared by going on vacation for 5 days at all inclusive and then tried to fast right when we got home.
That is a way of doing it.
Don't recommend that way for sure.
I'll tell you, that is why having coaches when doing personal challenges does help, because it gets you to think about all sorts of different things, which I think we'll probably get into in this pod or this long form conversation, whatever we're running with.
Yeah. So let's talk about, for you, the first step of this was obviously deciding to do this maximum misogi. Second step is like planning it out, right?
Yes. So there's a bunch of things that I wanted to do when planning out. First, I had people talk to me about fasting in general in the past. Perhaps they had seen that because I do 36-hour fasts regularly. I've done a bunch of 3-day fasts. So, you do something and people reach out about it. So I wanted to put out there to see if anybody wanted to do it with me. And 5 other people said that they did. and then followed up with them and had sort of told them my plan. I wasn't going to tell anybody how to do it.
Right.
Um,
You do this challenge this way,
Yeah.
or you're out.
right. And people do it. People fast for different reasons, right? And for me, the main reason was I was fearful of it. I wanted that. Oh, excuse me.
You're not excused.
Oh. I wanted the mental challenge of doing it. It had nothing to do with weight or
Sure.
really, caloric
Physical
intake.
health.
Yeah. Now there's a lot of physical health benefits. Why do I keep burping? Excuse me. I'm not excused again. Just
Nope.
excuse me, for God's sakes. There are certainly a lot of those benefits, and that is wonderful. But for me, it was all about the mental challenge and seeing how difficult that would be to have that mental discipline to not eat in the face of whatever challenges came.
Right.
So I decided, I did a bunch of research personally on longer fasts, so 5 or 7 day fasts. I decided on a particular way of doing it. I talked to a bunch of people that had done longer fasts.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting. Fasting is one of those things that if you've never done it, you can't even, wait, what? You didn't eat for 5 days? What? That's just insane. Why would you do that? Like,
Right. It's so ingrained in our culture. Like, okay, breakfast, lunch, dinner.
yes.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Yeah. Which, by the way, you don't need to eat like that.
No, not at all.
Food is fuel, and you need to eat as a fuel, and that's it. You don't need to have breakfast. You don't need to have your favorite bacon, but bacon's good.
Almost like breathing. There's not only one way to breathe.
Yeah. Well, but everybody has to. Right. I guess I see.
Just
what you're
shorter
saying.
time span.
Shorter, very much. Yes. So, for me, I lost my train of thought. I'm thinking about breathing. Where were we going with that question?
We were going with talking about like eating cadences.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So, on one scale, it's like people like, what in the hell is wrong with you? And then there's people that have fasted for like
30 days.
20, right. Well, I was going to, there's 3 kind of categories that I ran into when leading up to this. One is what the hell is wrong with you? I'm a piece of shit if I don't eat at breakfast.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's like the people that have done like 24, 36, maybe a 48-hour fast. And they kind of get it. Like, they're like, oh yeah, okay. Like that seems challenging, and they kind of get it. And then there's the people that have gone like 7 or 10 days, like 5, 7, 10 days. And like, you talk to somebody that's gone 10 and then you say you're doing 5 and they're like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah. Like, oh, great.
I have not run into anybody personally that's gone 30. The most that I've heard, I think, is like 21.
Yeah. My wife's uncle
Oh, that's right. That was that story that did 30.
did it like a whole month worth of water fast for religious reasons. And I don't know the whole story with it. Never talked to him about it. But I do remember hearing that his stomach had major issues when he was coming back to eating regularly.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a different thing.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I mean, the longest fast out there, I believe, is 348 days. That was under medical supervision the whole time. And the guy was like 600 plus pounds.
Oh, wow.
And they kept his vitamins and minerals at where they were supposed to be. He just didn't eat. And, all those fat rolls that you have on yourself, those are like little granola bars. And, when your body needs some energy, it just kind of taps into those granola bars. It's like, delicious. So, and obviously
I'll be thinking of that.
yeah. Ooh, granola.
I need to stock up on granola.
And some people do. That's why we have that capability, right? Like the first way that we burn energy is via sugar. The second way, the second gas tank is that fat.
That's right.
So, going back to that, talking to people was quite interesting. There are not a ton of people out there that have done 5, 7, 10 or longer fasts.
Right.
There is a bunch of stuff online and like on Reddit and all that kind of stuff of people doing it. And it's just, the experiences are all over.
Yeah. I can only imagine.
So
Positive stories, negative stories,
yeah,
stories that make you be like, what? I
yeah,
don't even think that's real.
yeah. I didn't want it to be unsafe as far as like damaging my stomach or something of that nature.
Right.
And then I also did have things that I felt like I needed to do, like work related, like be a coach and be a jiu-jitsu coach. And, um, those take a certain mental sharpness, and I was unsure as how my body would react. So I decided to stick with the Athletic Greens, which is my multivitamin, which does have like 35 or 50 calories per serving. I forgot which one it is.
Mm.
I actually didn't take it the first 2 days, and then I was like, oh, I probably should do this. Which is against my plan, right?
Preparation is different than taking action, right?
Yeah, and then I used elements, and not all the time. Maybe 2 elements of 5 calories each a day.
If people don't know, Elements is electrolyte mix
Yes.
and a mineral mix.
Yeah, and
Salt.
then drip drop sugar free as well one day. So it was all to make sure that my electrolytes were in balance, which I think is a very good thing to do. Okay, so that was my way that I determined that I was going to do it. So if you're a purist, it was not a pure water fast. For anybody else that has a little bit more common sense, it was just a safe way to do a water fast.
A little bit more grace for you in your process.
I shouldn't say common sense, but I mean, it's not those amount of calories on most studies do not break you out of the fast, don't break you out of a ketogenic state. So, and I would drink my Athletic Greens in the last couple of days over like a course of a 2-hour period. So it's not doing anything to my digestive system.
That's interesting. I always drink my greens just immediately.
Yeah,
all at once.
I do too. But your stomach, my stomach just didn't feel like it wanted.
When you were doing it in the fast.
Yeah, it just didn't want to do that.
Interesting.
Yeah, pretty weird.
So yeah, after preparation, then the next step is kind of scheduling, right? That's part of preparation. And then the time came for you to start your fast.
Yeah, there was a lot of questions that needed to be answered. I would go check out the blog on the Patreon. It's a pretty in-depth blog on how I fasted, so it may be helpful. But there was a lot of questions like, talking to Megan, my partner, about, well, I may be cranky, right? Or I may not be able to do stuff that we normally do, or I may need help with this. And then, talking to clients like, hey, just so you know, this is going to be like next week, I'll be 3 days into a fast, and I'm not sure how that I'll be. So, hopefully have some grace, as you said. So a bunch of different conversations, and then planning the dates. Like, I certainly wouldn't want to be on a vacation. I wouldn't want to be in Italy and be like, I don't think I'm going to eat for the next 5 days.
Right. That would be difficult.
Yeah. And take away from the experience of life.
Right.
I wanted this to be an experience, not take away from something else.
Right. So everything else was the constant, and this was the variable.
Yeah.
Throughout that week.
That's correct. Yeah. So picked a week that kind of fit, or at least fit the best. Had the conversations that I needed to have, determined how I was going to do the fast. Leading up to the fast, hypothetically, you should probably, from what I read, do some more strict intermittent fasting.
Oh, okay.
Intermittent fasting was for years a part of my daily routine. It's gone away, but I still intermittent fast. I'll eat after jiu-jitsu and then eat probably around 11 or 12. So, but I'm not really strict to it anymore, but that's just how I would normally operate. So normally it's like,
so that's close to 12 hours,
12, 13 hours. And a lot of times it's more just because I get caught up in my mornings most of the time.
Yeah.
So that's normal. But leading up to a fast like this, many people say, maybe go to 1 a day or 4-hour window or something of that nature to start your body like normalizing not having food over an extended period of time. I chose to completely ignore that.
Sure.
In my head, I was like, I'm going to live this once. then I'm going to be done. I don't want to. I don't want to take this thing from a 5-day challenge and realistically 6 or 7-day challenge because I knew coming off the back end, it's not like I was going to jump right into food,
Right.
and I didn't know how I'd feel. So like already, this is probably a 7-day challenge realistically. Then adding on, a week or 2 of intermittent fasting
Before.
Yes, before. So now we're talking about 3-week challenge. I wasn't up for it. I was just like, let's go, right?
Yeah.
So
Let's plan a brunch for the day for you coming out of your fast.
Yeah, that was not the smartest probably, but that it all worked out.
It all worked out.
Anywho, so we so my last meal was Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. I was done eating at 11 a.m. I had a steak and eggs at a local Greasy Spoon diner.
Nice.
Which also probably not the best meal. I'd probably want something light, but I was like, fuck it. Like, this protein is good. And man, did I enjoy it. I had quite a bit of anxiety leading up to it. The weeks that I probably should have been intermittent fasting, I was like, oh man, this is going to suck. I don't want to do this. Why am I doing it? 5 days is such a long time. Just in my head.
Right.
Which is why I and other people do these types of things, because I am choosing to do this. I'm choosing this battle to strengthen my resolve and strengthen my mental capacity to get through challenges. And this is a part of it. It had started weeks before, like thinking about it.
Yeah. Do things often give you that mental challenge? Are there a lot of things that you decide that you're going to do that bring you to that state?
Things like this, yeah. Whenever I do a challenge like this, a lot of times, if I don't get that, then I'm maybe not the right challenge.
But outside of challenges, no, that's not part of your normal daily life, is it?
Not much that, even if I'm going to like a jiu-jitsu gym where I don't know anybody and I'm expected to be really good. Sometimes I'll put some weight on that. Like, oh God, I had a drink last night. I got shitty sleep. I know these guys are going to try to murder me. So sometimes that, but that's also something I'm choosing to do. And it's also something that is inherently hard.
Right. Yeah. I was just wondering if,
Yeah, I don't have that anxiety much in life.
Which is a great thing.
Yeah, I think I like that. It's not as though, I think because of the practice that I have, I don't have that.
I would agree.
Yeah, which is neat. Okay, where were we? We're walking into the day of the fast.
Yep, eating your last meal.
The last meal. That anxiety turned into excitement. I was excited to get started.
Yeah.
I think
Goldilocks phase of the fast.
Yeah, right. I think it's really interesting how closely related anxiety and excitement are. I mean,
they are the same emotion.
They have the same feeling,
or a physical feeling.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
They are so closely related, and I think it's just interesting to when that switch occurs. Like, oh, I was having anxiety about this. Now I'm ready to go. Let's go. I'm excited about this.
I talk about that often when I'm helping people compete or prepare for jiu-jitsu competition, because everybody's first instinct, especially if they don't have a lot of experience, is to be anxious, and they put a lot of pressure on the outcomes of their competition or the challenge, like you're talking about. But once we reframe that anxiety into excitement, and you tell yourself, "Oh, I'm excited," then you can actually believe you're excited, and that excitement is going, and that energy, the physical feeling from excitement, is going to be able to push you to perform better.
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
But if you view it as anxiety and let that energy kind of hold you down, it can inhibit your performance.
100%. The last time that I competed, and it's been quite a while now, like 4.5 years or something.
No way.
No way. It's been that long.
I feel like I remember you guillotined that guy.
Yeah.
Has it been 4 years?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's time flies when you're having fun, man.
Yeah.
But I remember having a lot of anxiety about that because I knew some of the people in the bracket. I'm like, oh, this is a tough guy. Oh man.
Mm.
Oh, this is fucking 27-year-old college wrestler. Oh, fuck, like, and oh, by the
Yep.
way, he's also a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like,
Yes.
thinking all these things, and then when I got there, it was just like excitement.
Yes. Time to execute.
Time to go. And then multiple things happened, and then that great, that fun guillotine.
Yep.
30
30-second guillotine.
which 20 seconds of it was me looking like I don't even know, like a straight up bean pole.
Yeah, you're baiting the
Yeah.
double leg.
Come
you
on.
You should attack my legs.
Yeah, this looks real nice, doesn't it?
He bit.
Yeah, got him.
Anyways, hope he's not listening.
Yeah, right. That'd be funny. Anyway, so I'm excited. I go into it, man. Day one, fucking breeze. Not a hunger, not anything. When I say day one, I mean the rest of Tuesday.
Right. The rest of that day, yeah.
Right. No challenges really. Went to jiu-jitsu, coached jiu-jitsu, did some light rolls, did nothing. I felt perfectly fine. In fact, probably better than fine. It felt really great.
Beautiful.
Go to sleep, wake up day 2, pretty fine. Normally when I do 3-day fast, the first 2 days are the hardest with cravings.
Mm.
So my idea was that my first 2 days would be the hardest with cravings. The third day, I would probably feel like weak, but mentally clear. And then I've heard from other people that day 4 and 5, like, you feel great.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I was expecting.
Mm-hmm. Have you done a 5-day fast before?
No, I did. I added juice in the last few days.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Which is different, a much different thing.
Yes, because and what's really interesting about the juice is like, you take some juice and you're like, let's go. Like,
you could feel it.
Oh my God.
Through your body.
Yes.
Nice.
So anyway, I go into day 2. Day 2 is just, Wednesday, totally normal.
Okay.
Go to class. Just every once in a while I'm thinking about food. Nothing. I'm like, this is going to be a breeze, man. The first 2 days,
Mm-hmm. It's just easy.
Yeah. After jiu-jitsu, I did get a little craving.
Sure.
So now we're talking about that 36 hour, and 36 is a normal, like, I'll do 6 36-hour fasts this year.
Sure.
So that's a pretty normal rotation. Once every couple months, I do a 36. Anyway, so I fucking saw some guy out the window carrying pizza. I'm like, oh yeah, that looks good. Driving home, some other assholes carrying pizza across the street. I'm like, come on, man! Like,
all the pizza.
yeah, just all the pizza. I'm like, oh, that sounds good, but
Wafting through the air.
no big deal, And then day 3, and I woke up day 3, had a headache, low energy, and hungry.
Mm.
And that headache didn't go away until like midway through day 5. Or sorry, day 4. So I had it all day 3, went to bed. It was no bueno.
Wow, that's a long headache.
Yeah, especially for me, I don't get headaches much anymore. Once I understood, or once I'm able to deal with stress, I think through these kind of challenges. But once I'm able to not hold on to a lot of stress,
Mm-hmm.
my headaches started to go away. So
Makes sense.
yeah. So anyway, it was just quite a miserable day, and I still had jiu-jitsu to coach. By the time I went to jiu-jitsu, we were doing toreando passing.
Sure.
Tornado passing.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Did that yesterday.
But I did it for like 10 seconds to show the drill that I had set up, and I was like dizzy.
Ooh, like super lightheaded.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, this probably isn't good.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not sharp at all. My coaching, in my opinion, sucked. It was rough coaching. during the day, like just everything.
Mm.
Just one of those. It just
Like a foggy day, like couldn't cut through the fog mentally.
yes, yeah, and it was quite rough.
Mm.
But on the positive side, I did still have some energy.
Okay.
So, okay, I didn't feel like I couldn't get out of bed, or other than my headache, I didn't feel like some of the other challenges that were awaiting me in day 4 and 5.
Yeah, so you weren't like worried about like driving or like motor skills or
No.
yeah, it was just like you couldn't think as clear as you
Yeah,
normally could.
and that headache was annoying,
Yeah, that makes sense.
So go to bed, wake up day 4. Man, I was just restless, terrible sleep.
Mm.
Just nothing really great. Super tired. Then I have to get up and work. And I couldn't even, day 4, Megan and I do we try to still do 45-minute walks in the morning. So we get up early and do a nice walk. I felt like I couldn't do that.
Oh, like physically?
Yes. Yeah. So I opted out of that. It was really interesting how low of energy that I was on day 4.
Wow.
Made it through the day, but really tried to do as little as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Like,
what did you do?
I took my calls and I tried to sit. Like, I tried to do anything that I could to not do physical stuff.
Yeah. Did you try to just like watch things or do like mindless stuff?
Yeah. Well, that was more day 5.
Mm.
Day 5, I did that. I did still try to do like some squats, like air squats or like some push-ups just to
get your blood flowing.
Yeah. Do that kind of stuff. But it was the beginning of the day. Like I said, I still had a headache, and it's really interesting. Day 4, even though I had such low energy, that was the day that really added some clarity to why I was doing this.
Okay.
I had very, very low energy, and I realized how grateful I was to have food. If I needed food, I could just go to the store. I don't have to go in this condition and, trek 20 miles to hunt a mongoose. I don't know why I'd be hunting a mongoose.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice, but
yeah,
I hear you.
Yeah, I don't have to go through the struggle of, my struggle is, do I want soup? Do I want salad? Do I want breadsticks? Do I want,
the challenge
pasta?
is the choice.
What a fucking incredible challenge that is, right? Like, I have too many choices. Oh, I don't want to eat this.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yes.
What?
Where do you want to go eat? Not there. Not there.
It's Thai food again.
We just had.
Oh, jeez. I don't want Italian food. Like, what an incredible world we live in.
Imagine like 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
What were your choices?
Your choice was the mongoose. Like, you either got the mongoose or you got less energy.
Yes.
Like, that's it.
Yeah. You weren't eating for taste. You're eating to survive.
Yes. Food is fuel. So that was really quite incredible to me. And that happened over and over on days 4 and 5, where I was just so appreciative of the fact that we have food. And that is why you do this type of stuff. Because, man, I'll tell you, I don't want to get mentally soft. I think things that happen mentally soft, you're like, just this comfort just squeezes the life out of you. And I do not want that comfort to squeeze the life out of me. I want to be able to appreciate life and appreciate all these things, and putting yourself in these situations seems to really allow yourself to do that.
Yeah, it gives you a different perspective than it pulls you out of your normal daily routine. And you've heard me say it a million times, but attitude of gratitude is the way to go for me. So anything that can increase your gratitude in general.
Ironically, I would have got your attitude of gratitude text on that Friday.
Yeah. I wonder what it was about.
I don't know, but I probably looked at it and been like, yeah, that motherfucker can eat. You better be grateful for that.
I'm grateful for this burrito.
Yeah. So that was neat. That what I think the pinnacle moment of the fast came on the night of day 4,
Okay.
and I was quite cold, which is a normal symptom of not eating. You do get colder.
All right. Less energy flowing through your veins or something?
Well, it takes energy to digest food, like quite a bit of energy.
Right.
And that energy, anytime that you're using energy, you're warming up.
Sure.
Like if we use energy to do jujitsu, we start to sweat.
Yeah. Okay.
Same type of thing.
Makes sense.
Or at least that's the simpleton answer. So
Explain like I'm 5.
yeah, well, if I can't explain something like that, I don't know it. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm cold. We're lucky enough to have a hot tub, and I'm like, I'm gonna go in the hot tub. Well, ever since day 3, late day 3, if I got up quick, I would feel dizzy.
Right.
And so I was like, okay. I had the frame of mind to think, well, dizzy and hot tubs don't necessarily go along too well.
Right. There's like a warning
Yeah.
on the door.
Because frankly, just in the normal, I mean, like you get out of a hot tub too fast, you get dizzy anyways.
Yeah. And there's a lot of fumes
Yeah. So like,
sometimes.
yeah, right. So it's something to think about, certainly, right? I tell Megan that, hey, in 20 minutes, can you come check on me?
Oh, sure.
Because I think I would want to be done in that 20-minute period, anyways. And this matters, but I went in at like 9:40. The hot tub closes at 10. Okay.
Sure.
I didn't think about that at the time, but that is important later on in the story.
Okay. Some foreshadowing.
So, some foreshadowing for the story. I go in the hot tub and I start to get quite worried. And I was like, well, if I get in the hot tub, and it was like a hot day, sometimes the hot tub's a little cooler, a little warmer.
Sure. It was on fire.
It was a hot day. And I was like, okay, if I get in this and I'm already kind of dizzy, and if I just move or forget or just overheat, like, where's my blood pressure at? What? I'm going to fall in this, and that's going to be the end of me.
Could be.
So I'm genuinely thinking, like, okay, how do I get in? Like, I said, just fuck it. Like, and so I'm going into this, like, existential crisis.
Mm.
And then I think of something from A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, which if you have, I know you've read the book, but
It's crazy because I thought you were going to say that for some reason. I have no idea why.
really?
But it popped in my head before you said it.
Oh, weird.
That's very weird.
I off camera, who knows, maybe I have a weird story with that stuff.
All right.
So I think of that, but actually I don't think of the book itself. I think of a story in the book, which is the Death at Tehran is the name of the story.
Okay.
And the story, I'll quick tell it. I'm going to butcher it, but I think hopefully you'll get it. So a rich Persian man has workers that are working out in the field. And one of his workers runs in, and he's just scared out of his mind. And he said, I've just run into death. I need to get away from death. Can I use the best horse you have and ride to Tehran? And some consideration, the rich Persian says, sure, you can take one of my horses and you can go to Tehran.
Okay.
Later on in the day, this rich Persian runs into death himself.
Okay.
And the Persian man says to him, why are you here scaring my employees?
Sure.
And Death looks shocked. He's like, oh, I wasn't scaring your employee. I was just expressing surprise because I am to meet him tonight in Tehran.
Oh.
And what I take from that story is if you let fear if you let fear dictate your life, you're never actually going to live.
Mm.
And so I was like, okay, I'm going to get in. The likelihood of me doing this, I actually sat like on the step side and like I kind of held on to make sure. I'm like, I'm not going to
Sure.
get up fast, but I'm going
Sure.
to get into this hot tub. I'm cold. I came here for a reason. And if I go like this, what a beautiful life it's been.
Sure.
I'm like, Megan will find me at some point, you know, like maybe she can, you know, maybe I won't have too much brain damage.
It'll be fine.
So it went from that story to then thinking about mortality and understanding. So this, I'm careful on how I say this because I don't want this to sound like, oh, I know what it's like to starve.
Sure.
Because I had a 5-day thing and I can, you know, go to Pick and Save and get a fucking sandwich,
Yeah.
you know, like at any point, right? Like,
Yeah.
like
There wasn't like you weren't like locked somewhere and there was no way you could get food at all.
right. Or somebody's telling me I can't eat, or
Right.
somebody's working me to the bone for 16 hours a day and
Yeah.
giving me
Like
pea
it's
soup.
not your choice.
Right. All of that I get. However, I did have a realization of how easy it would be to slip into death peacefully when your body has absolutely no energy.
Mm.
My body had what I thought was no energy. I'm sure I probably could have got up and fucking walked 26 miles. I mean, you know, like
Right.
maybe that would be the death, right? Like I'm sure I was nowhere close, but
like if a bear started chasing you, you'd be like, "Oh, I am gonna get away."
yeah,
or,
I'm sure.
Or do your best, right?
I'm sure. I'm sure I still had quite a bit in that gas tank. However, that is the lowest on purpose energy level that I have ever experienced.
Sure.
One weight cut was ridiculous, but that was on accident, and I could remedy that right away.
Yeah.
I understood the peace of just walking towards death.
Sure. You're having that like thought experiment.
Yes. Like, oh, yeah, I wasn't trying to, you know.
You weren't like, "Oh, well, this is my time.
Yeah, correct. No, not at all.
I'm just going to go under the water." And
I just,
right. You didn't have those types of thoughts.
no, not at all. It was just thoughts on mortality and an understanding of what we need as humans and knowing, understanding, you know, a man's search for meaning. Like he spends years in concentration camps, and
Right.
understanding the reason that those people survived is because they had a strong why.
Yes. And it also reminds me of the stories of, because they would use cigarettes as like to pay for things between all the people in the camps, and they would know when people smoked their cigarettes that the next morning they're probably not going to be there anymore.
Yes.
They accepted their fate and they wanted a little bit of bliss before they passed on.
I forgot about that point. Yeah. Yeah.
But he was saying when you see them smoke their cigarettes, you know that they're on their way out.
Yeah, giving up.
They've already, it's their time, and they've accepted that.
It's so crazy. I never thought about death and like, oh, that you can not only accept it, but like, I'll bet you could fight it. If you had a strong enough why, I'll bet you could fight it indefinitely in scenarios like that.
Yes.
Which is fucking insane. You know, I like, but on the flip side, it's so much suffering that it's just why, right? Like why do this? And like,
Yeah.
wow, that just happened to me. Like, well, why do this? Well, if you have that puzzle piece and that fits in, well, I do this because this. Oh,
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'll keep doing it.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was wild. So I said a little foreshadowing in the time. I started to get hot, so I kind of creeped up, got up to a stair, and you know, it's just
Started working your way
yeah,
out.
started working my way out, and then I saw Megan walking towards the door, and I was like, normally I'd probably just get up and get the door, but I was like, I'll just have her come in.
Sure.
The fucking door was locked.
Oh.
So she would have, like, if I would have passed out, she would have saw a horrific, you know, just,
Oh, man.
just face down, just floating in the hot tub. and then figured out how she's gonna break the door, or if she could break the door.
Oh wow. That door has a auto lock.
Auto
on it?
lock, yeah.
Like that one time we were locked out of there.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So, that was a little bit like I had a good laugh about that, and it's tough to explain that laugh because it's about death, right? Like, oh, you would have found me face down. That's funny, right?
Yes.
No, that's not fucking funny to that wouldn't be funny to her.
No, it wouldn't.
But
I get it.
Yeah, in this context, explaining it. So I think that was some of the more impactful insight that I gained from this. Day 5 was, luckily it didn't have much planned. We sat outside for hours. The sun was beautiful. The sun charged me up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It took like a 20-minute walk, and then afterwards I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to lay back down. Like,
sure.
But we sat outside at her parents' house. Very nice day.
And that was a Saturday then?
That was a Saturday.
Yeah.
So then Sunday at 11 is when that would have been the exact 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of my clients was suggesting that I go longer. Like, hey, you already have the sunk cost of 5 days.
Sure.
Like, see if you can do 7. See if you could do 10. And so I was really considering it. Went to bed on the 5th night, and was thinking about it. Woke up really early. By the way, you said I watched a bunch of TV too on Saturday. Just really didn't do much of anything. I also picked up watching, when Megan was with me, Entourage. I haven't seen Entourage since you ever see that?
Nope.
Oh man, it's
no idea what
such
that
a
is.
bro show. It's the broiest of shows, but it's really entertaining.
All right.
I watched it when I was in my 20s, and then there was like I didn't see like the last 3 or 4 seasons or something, and so I was like, whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
sure.
So anyway, woke up at like 5:30 in the morning. Still slept like shit, and I was debating like, do I want to continue on? Like, I could continue on. I could do this. Like, I can really push myself. And then I realized how unfair it is to Megan because like she's feeling a certain way about eating. We can't do certain things. We can't maybe can't's not the right word.
Sure, but it impacts a lot of other things that might go on in your life.
Yes. And then come Monday, I'm going to have to be a coach again, right? And that's not fair to I don't have the same clarity. I didn't have the same energy. I wasn't the same person.
Right. Things did change.
Yes. And so I decided I'm good.
Yeah. This is what I expected to do.
Yes.
I'm here. I'm at the finish line here. Why would I extend the finish line?
Yes. That was at like 9 a.m. that I came to that. I woke up at like 5:30 and just turned on TV, thought about it, whatever.
Toying with the idea.
Yeah. And then the last test is like 9 a.m. I'm like, I have this thing at 11. We had this brunch for City Champs.
Mm-hmm.
Why not just have something now? Like have some soup or something now. That way maybe I can enjoy a little bit more of the brunch. Nobody's gonna fucking know. It's been, since Tuesday that I've eaten, right? Like
there is somebody that's gonna know.
Who's that, Nick?
Yourself.
Ah!
You
Yes.
would always know.
Yes. Exactly. I realized that I would know. Fuck. And then once I got past that, because the secret of life is being congruent, so I got to be congruent with myself even when nobody's watching. Once I got past that, dude, the last couple hours, totally fine.
Yeah, it was just like, oh,
yeah,
it's like a timer counting down.
Yeah, totally fine. In fact, I don't think I ate until like 11:30, 11:45, like whatever. Like not that added or subtracted. It's just like,
yeah,
one may think like, oh, I can eat. Let's do it.
Yeah, but we were like busy setting up the brunch, and you like forgot that it was time to eat, and you're like, oh, I should start making this food.
Yeah, I should probably make this the soup. I was at like I opened Open Mat.
Right. Yeah, you were
sitting
driving
there
around
talking.
doing stuff.
Yeah, like whatever, like.
Yeah.
So it was, it was after when I ate, I did eat. I started off with soup, ate a little bit of soup. Probably took about a half an hour eating soup.
Mm-hmm.
Felt how my stomach was. Then I had just a couple bites of like, some of the great brunch stuff that Brittany and you made.
Brittany.
that
Brittany
Brittany
made.
made. And
I think I chopped up some cucumbers.
there you go. You helped. That's it.
Yeah.
What would you have done, Brittany, without those cucumbers?
Anyways, I was gonna say something about the last 2 hours of your fast. How was a breeze? You were just like busy with things you had to do, but like, what? And this is a hypothetical question, but if at a certain point there was no food around you, like, what do you think your mental state would have been? Or can you imagine how you would have felt if all of a sudden, like, you were teleported to the middle of the desert and there was no food, and then you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, I'd probably be pretty pissed with myself, but I chose this time to teleport into the desert.
Right.
Yeah, I think I would have been okay. I really believe that I would have been okay.
Congruently just accept your surroundings, be like, well, I
Yeah.
guess I'm here
Okay.
now.
How do I solve this problem? Yeah, I believe that would have been the case, but who knows?
Yeah. Because, mentally you could have been ramping up just like more excitement because you're like, I'm here at the end. I'm doing it. I've done this. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Just something.
Yeah.
I was just wondering.
Yeah. No. So then the next few hours, I just slowly reintroduced food, and then the next day I had a big meal or whatever, and it's fine. Once I had a bowel movement, it's kind of weird not shitting for days.
Yeah. It is weird.
It's not so crappy. Yeah.
Save on toilet paper.
Oh, for sure. Save on toilet paper, on food.
It's what everybody should have done during the pandemic.
What a weird world that was.
Anyways.
So that was my story of the Misogi. So out of the 6 people total that did it, half of them ended up finishing.
Nice.
There's various reasons that the other ones didn't. One, his eyesight, like, apparently, like, things were getting blurry. His vision was getting blurry. Probably not great.
Nope. He needs more carrots.
Another one had too hard of a workout on day 2.
Oh.
I'm not sure what that means, but okay.
But they felt at that point they
Yeah.
needed to resupply that
Yeah.
fuel.
Yeah. Another one had like an important meeting on day 3 and didn't feel like horribly sharp and
Makes sense.
decided to eat. So, but big kudos to the other 2 that did it. Another Brittany from Arizona and Brian Cummings from
Wow.
White Lotus. Brian is probably the most, everybody else had said that they'd fast for at least 3 days. Brian had only gone for about 24 hours before.
Oh, wow.
So
That's a big jump.
that's a big jump. And he went through a bunch of, I'll just quit. This is stupid. I could do this anytime. But he got through it. And
Mental gymnastics.
honestly, he fucking did it. I was very low energy and I stayed away from grappling. That fucking guy was grappling day 3, day 4.
Wow.
Yeah. Stupid. But kudos to him, right? Like he kept his lifestyle. I think he handled it. I think his body handled it significantly better than mine, which I think is awesome. So,
Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Kudos to them.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it was all in all, as I recap it, it was about as difficult. It was quite hard. It's not something that I think.
Yeah, it's not something that like you can wake up on Tuesday and be like, I'll skip this meal. Oh, skip, and then all of a sudden 5 days later, I skipped all my meals.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Oh, I accidentally. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was quite challenging. The frame of mind, I was proud of myself that I was able to still, like, my default was like gratitude and peace, and it wasn't anxiety and feeling like oh my gosh, what
Yeah, you
am I
weren't
gonna do?
stressed the whole time throughout the fast. Like, man, I wish I could eat.
Yes,
You were congruent in your decision to not eat and then experience life as it unfolded,
that's right.
which
Yeah.
is a beautiful thing.
And the planning beforehand was quite useful in understanding what I was going to do and what I could do.
And some research.
Yes, yeah, all of that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
And you made it out of the hot tub alive. So
I think
that-
so.
so far has been a good thing for everybody else.
I just picture Megan coming in like just floating there. Like,
Oh no.
yeah. I wonder if she would have like thought to pick up weights and try to break the glass.
I
Or
don't
just freak out. You know, like, cause like you don't know how much you're gonna think in those scenarios.
Right. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. Like, call the cop. You know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether it was
And
you or
that-
anyone else.
Yeah, and that is the yeah, it's really valuable to think about mortality, I think.
I think so also, yeah. Because so far, everybody's gonna pass.
Oh, like die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I thought you meant at first pass on thinking about mortality.
Oh no. Yeah. We did an episode on death.
Yeah.
So we talk more in depth about that. But it's good to think about it. And then, that can help you decide how you want to be.
Yeah. So all in all, good maximum misogi. My next one, this is a mini misogi, probably just because of like chances of doing it, but for me is really quite difficult. And like even now talking about it, it's gonna be great. Jumping out of a plane.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have until, well, I guess until like November or December, but realistically, it's got to be in summer.
Yeah, I would do it when the sun's out. It's a little bit
Well,
harder.
I don't even think they offer it. I think that ends in September or October or something.
Makes
So,
sense.
Yeah, I have to do that. Megan was kind enough for Christmas.
It's
yeah.
so funny that you'd rather do a 5-day fast than like jump out of an airplane.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I do like,
But the chances of completing jumping out of the airplane are much higher
yes,
than
and quite like a lot less planning. Like
Yep.
I could do it tomorrow, probably, assuming
Yep.
that they would have, like, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I don't need to plan for anything. I just need to
Just go do it.
just go do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that would be an example of a mini misogi. But the impact of that, I've been saying that I need to jump out of a fucking plane for 20 some years.
Oh, well.
It's just, yeah. And I have a bunch of friends that say it's like the best. It's so cool.
Yeah. It's one of the best feelings ever.
Yeah. Cool.
Super fun.
I can't wait.
Second to those smelling salts from Sam yesterday.
Oh my God. Why? Why did he bring those things?
I'm unsure.
Oh my God. Why did God create those?
I have no idea.
Oh my gosh. I went for it too. Like, I mean, I was just like,
I was very conservative, and
Yeah.
I was happy that I was.
oh yeah. The first time I was like, took it. I'm like, oh, that sucks. I'm like, I'm gonna be the tough guy here. I'm gonna really bro out, and then like, I'm like,
That could be my next mini misogi.
holy fuck, man. Yeah.
A Wim Hof with those. Anyways,
No, you would die. I think you would die.
Uh,
Like quite literally, I think you would die.
maximum misogi then.
Yeah. Death misogi.
Anyways, well, thank you for sharing everything about your 5-day fast, and yeah, I think it was really insightful. You had a lot of tough moments in there, but you persevered, so congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Round of applause.
Yeah.
All right, my friend.
All right. Well, thank you, and thank you guys for listening. We'll see you later.
See ya.